Thank you for tuning in to the Shikama Live Show with your host, Shikama. I just wanted to make a quick video looking at my stats. It has said that over the past 30 days, 51 people have unsubscribed from me. Now, of course, my subscription rate is going up, not down, but I need to make this video. If I do a story or make a video or do a report that you disagree with, understand that it is not me that is coming up with the facts, that's coming up with anything. I'm going to give you the point of view of a Pan-Africanist and a Libertarian. People generally unsubscribe from me from the homosexual type videos, the videos talking about homosexuals. Well, understand that if you're in the, not even minority, we're talking about a trace population, and you make policies, or policies are made just for that trace population, and say this is a good thing, it's not a good thing. What you are doing is literally seizing control of the entire population. If 99% of the population is impacted by policies made on your behalf, it's an evil thing. Obviously, these trace population and groups, I'm talking about less than 1%. I mean, stuff that is just outrageous. And it doesn't impact 1% of the population, it impacts 100% of the population. In this time, in this economy that we're talking about, we're talking about businesses will go out of business because of these policies. People will lose jobs because of these policies. Trade will cease because of these policies. Economic and financial activity will halt because of these policies. You're not understanding what you're asking for. You really aren't. My first go-to is to look at the financial impact of a lot of the news. A lot of the news, a lot of the things that you see coming out of Washington impacts the economy, impacts Main Street. You might be dancing in the street because your group won. Your group didn't win. Your group just caused thousands of black people to die. Hundreds of thousands of black people to die. That's what your group did. Now, people aren't going to give you that impact. I try and give you that impact. Now, I might sound like I'm ranting and raving, but we're talking about news. News is boring. News is boring. Today in Washington, President Obama vetoed a bill that would make cows blue and require all dairy farmers to dye their milk blue. Boring. Boring, boring, boring. This is why Alex Jones screams. This is why Howard Stern says outrageous stuff. This is why Rush Limbaugh screams into his mind. This is why Glenn Beck talks the way he does and brings out outrageous things and claims to be a libertarian. News is boring. The the appeals court in Florida said that news does not have to be truthful. There is no guarantee that news is truthful. In a court case brought against Fox News. And guess who went in on the side of Fox? All the major media. Everybody. You don't hear about that case. Everybody. The entire gamut of what you call mainstream media. They all came in on the side of Fox, and the plaintiffs said that they kept their story about bovine hormones and bovine injections causing cancer. And the court said the news does not have to be truthful, so Fox can in fact take your story and say the exact opposite because they have a major contributor who is in the dairy industry. I'm going to give you mainly the point of financial. I haven't been doing that because I think it's boring. Anytime I give a financial video, nobody watches it. Nobody. Absolutely nobody. I'm sorry, 300 people is nobody. 400 people is nobody. 500 people is nobody. Do you know I have to clear 10,000 views to make any money, to even pay for the lights that you don't see, the electricity that you don't see? 10,000 viewers. So that's why I put out 5-10 videos a day to try and, over the course of time, if they get 300 views, to pay for me staying alive. Now, we had some Nimrods on my channel and some of my videos say, the truth should be free. I'm sorry, we live in the United States. Unless you're a Rockefeller, whom you all hate, you can't put anything out for free. Unless you're Bill Gates, you can't put out anything for free. The camera costs money. The stand that the camera sits on costs money. All of these 50,000 lights cost money, and electricity costs money. The food I need to stay alive costs money. I can't put out things for free. I'm not trying to really get into my business, but I'm just trying to give you perspective. And that's what my videos are about. Perspective. If I say that the homosexuals or the Mormons or the Amish are doing this, and that, and the other, and it has a financial or economic impact that is against the entire population. Because remember, behind those policies are people. If somebody's going to implement it, they are going to implement it to their benefit. So the Amish, the Mormons, the homosexuals, the whatever, think that they have won by some policy? No. The person implementing that policy is going to be behind it. On paper, welfare looks fantastic. On paper, food stamp looks fantastic. But we know that the people implementing welfare, implementing Medicaid, implementing food stamps, are going to implement it to their benefit. And what do? They say, hey, here's billions of dollars flowing into the population from the federal government via taxpayers, of course. We want a piece of that. So let's grow our agency. Let's hire more agents. Let's hire internal back office people who are going to siphon out some of those billions of dollars. And this is what happened. Black people, homosexuals, Amish, they don't understand. They don't get it. They don't get that there's back office people siphoning out the billions. Do you really think that the federal government would implement a policy or create a policy thinking that at the end of that policy you're going to get $100 in food stamps a month? What is $100? A child who eats, only a portion of what an adult eats can't even survive off $100, not in today's market. And don't say, oh, you can go to the secondhand food store and buy that. Even at the secondhand food store, you have to eat 3 square meals a day, every day. Is $100 going to do anything for that? No. And do you know why that is? Because there's those people in the back office siphoning off the money. JP Morgan, or I believe Chase, is in charge of implementing unemployment checks. They siphon off billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. That's why on paper you can only get unemployment for 6 months. And then Congress has to pass bills, or the state has to pass bills to keep going. If you work 40 years, invisible to you, here's another thing you don't understand. You are paying unemployment insurance. The sweat from your brow. All these communist people saying, all these people are making so much money off of the labor of these poor workers, and the greedy bastards who own the store doesn't pay them what they're worth. You're not understanding. The federal government siphons off 40% of your wage before you even see it. So when that store owner pays you $8 an hour, you can rest assured through various programs, the federal government is taking $7 an hour away from you. That's right. So your actual wage is $16 an hour, you only ever see $8 an hour of that. And on the front end, you still get taxes taken away. On the back end, you have a full $8 an hour that is taken away from you. So the communists and socialists, you're all ignorant. You have absolutely no idea what's going on. Everything is invisible to you, and if it's invisible to you, you don't believe it. So your little philosophy of socialism is great and communism is great, it's because of you that we have such policies where somebody who works for $7.25 an hour doesn't get the $14 an hour that they are actually being paid. On paper, they're being paid $14 an hour. In the front end, they're only making $7.25 an hour. And on that front end, they're still being taxed because you have the employer side and the employee side. This is all implementation. This is what I'm trying to do. Even the people who said that they're awake aren't awake, because there's a whole invisible world to even the people who are awake. You have to really be on the ball to understand everything that's going on. So people who get mad at me and unsubscribe, you don't even understand what's going on. You really don't. And I know the people who say, well, homosexuals should have the rights too, but they need to be able to visit their loved ones. As a single straight man, you don't have those rights either. Absolutely nobody is talking about that. As a single straight woman, you have absolutely no rights for that. Now, why do they even have that? They have it. You're looking at it from the opposite direction. You can't visit the person if they're not strictly, totally, and directly related to you, mother and son, right? That's the real policy that's there. And that policy really is breaking the rule that the hospital really wants to implement. The hospital really wants to implement, you can't see anybody in the hospital. But there is this social aspect to it that says people in hospitals actually get better if they see a loved one. And the hospital said, okay, we don't actually want anybody to come visit these people. We're going to limit it to the direct relation, husband and wife, mother and father, maybe grandmother. That's who really the hospital, that's what the hospital has gone out of their way to do. Insurance companies have formulated through actuaries that people who get married and have children, men act a certain way, women act a certain way. People who get married and just have a sexual relationship, they don't change. People who just are boyfriend and girlfriend, they don't change. They drive erratically. Why? Because they have absolutely no responsibility to another human to stay alive. All of these things that you think are rights are not rights. These are things that these companies have determined they can make a profit and they can take from you this much, still make a profit, and not make you angry enough to quit business with them. Car insurance, health insurance. They have pushed it to the edge, and a lot of people don't understand this. Insurance companies don't make that much money. Let's say they actually make like a penny from you. For every person who pays your insurance premiums, there's another person somewhere who just got into an accident, who just got cancer, who just fell off a building, who just left 5 children and a woman bereft of a husband. These things are invisible to most of the population. You have to be really on the ball to see this. That's what my channel is actually dedicated to. Stripping away, pulling the curtain back, showing you who's there, showing you what the financial picture actually is, because it's all about finance. If you think it's about something else, if you think it's about God, if you think it's about worshiping, being a good Christian, being a good Amish, being a good human, it's not. It's about money. That's all it's about. This is the United States of America. If you think it's about something else, I recommend that you move somewhere else, some tiny country, maybe an island somewhere where the chief export is coconuts, and then you can live by your doctrine of God first. And I'm not saying that to bash your religion. I'm saying This is the reality of this country. I know a guy, I have a neighbor who lives here, and he's all, everything's happy and gay and blah, 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 blah. He doesn't even have a job, mind you. And he does nothing to make money, and everything is happy and gay for him. And I mean happy and gay in the original sense of the word, not he's a homosexual, anyway, everything's happy and gay for him. And I determined that he's the type of person, and I had this conversation, I said, you're the type of person who, if you were a teacher, you would say, we shouldn't have grades. Everybody should just go by their feelings. And he responded, grades are arbitrary. They're not real. I say, I got you. That's the type of person you are. And a lot of you who have subscribed to me are that type of person. A lot of my younger people, a lot of my, 30-somethings, 20-somethings, a lot of you are those type of people because you've been indoctrinated into that sort of system. Money is feedback. If I price something at $10 and everybody stops buying it, that means that the product isn't good enough to warrant $10. Money is feedback. So if I lower it to $5 and only 10% of the people who come into the store buy it, that still tells me something. Everything is graded in this United States. You can have a teacher who says, oh, we're just going to go by your feelings. No, you need feedback. Grades are feedback, just like money is feedback. If you do a fantastic job, you get promotions, you get raises. That's all feedback as to what's the quality of what you do. I'm pulling away the curtain. You can unsubscribe from me if you get mad, and I'm trying to tell you, don't get mad. My channel is about no emotions whatsoever. I really don't have emotions about anything, except for the dog that was shot by the police. I really have no emotions about anything. I'm trying to pull away the curtain. I'm trying to expose what's really going on. My last video, Ann Coulter had a sign saying, bring back our country. And everybody thought that was an attack on Michelle Obama. Not the actual thing, not the actual cause or whatever, bring back the girls things. They thought it was an attack on Michelle Obama. And I was trying to expose how the Democrats worship this woman, Michelle Obama, who is meaningless in the grand scheme of things. And even people thought that was terrible. I have no love for Ann Coulter. I'm just showing you hypocrisy. I'm showing you what's really going on, what this is about. That story was a prime example of something that's on the surface, looks one way, and then when you rip the curtain away, it exposes what's really going on. And I would hope that Democrats, homosexuals, Amish, police would watch my channel and see my stories and understand that I'm exposing what's really going on and how all of you are being used. I've said it time and again. I think the people who call themselves homosexuals are being used. I think women are being used. I think black people are being used. You're being exploited, not for your benefit, but for somebody else's benefit. I can't tolerate that. The women or feminists think that they've really won something. Yay, we got the right to vote. Okay, we got the right to do this. Okay, we got custody of our children. Wait a minute, we get alimony. Oh, wait a minute, we get child support. Hey, wait a minute. Men can't ever get custody of their children. Wait a minute, what's going on? Is that what you wanted? Is that really what you wanted? That's not benefiting you. That's destroying your family. Destroying the very children that you so pretend to worry about and so pretend to care about. Same thing with the Amish, with the homosexuals, with the Mormons. You think you've won something when you haven't. You're just being exploited. You are the it girl of the month. And they take up your cause, they write a couple of laws that looks pretty to you on the surface, and then when they go to implement it, the courts, the lawyers, all benefit. You now have to have a judge to get a divorce. You almost have to have a judge to get married. It's being implemented. Implementation. You're being exploited, understand. I see it because I have a wide breadth of knowledge. I study and research all day long. Just understand what I'm trying to accomplish here. And I'm trying to do it at a very slow pace so that maybe in a year or two, when I get into the real nitty-gritty of stuff, people won't be lost. They can look at a playlist of my videos and I can take them from point A or point 00A all the way to point A, all the way to point Z. And by the time they get to point Z, they'll understand. All the stuff that you're asking for and looking for, I'm saying it's terrible. That's why I'm a part of the Libertarian Party. We say you shouldn't go to the government for this. Really, you shouldn't. What does a government, if they're not financing a hospital, what does the government have to do with a hospital? And yet they're passing laws for all hospitals. The government doesn't have authority over a hospital. It does not. You don't have a right for a doctor who paid $500,000 in student loans to have to treat you for free. The government doesn't give you that right. There is no right in the entire world. There is no natural law that says that. That would be called slavery, would it not? I'm trying to expose all of this. So bear with me. Don't get emotional. Just remember, I'm sitting here going, I need to expose this. That's all I'm trying to do. I actually don't care about a lot of the subjects. I try and determine what you would like to watch, and I try and present it in the most entertaining way possible. Because news is boring. Tell me what you think about all of that. I know it's a long-winded. And thank you for watching the Shikama Live show. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you all for sharing my videos. That's how I can grow. Yes, I lost 50 subscribers, but I gained about 500 or maybe even 800 or so subscribers in that time. So even more. It was probably 900 subscribers in that time, minus the 50, right? Thank you for watching the Shikama Live show. I appreciate all of you. Even if you disagree with me, tell me what you think. Don't just go, I hate this guy, I'm subscribing.